Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, The New World of Field Service and CRM, Delivering Remarkable Customer Service. I'm Andy Kluck. I'm a member of the marketing team here at LedgeView Partners, and before we get things started off today and turn things over to the presenter, I just have a couple of the quick general webinar items I want to cover with you. First off, today's webinar is being recorded, and it's going to be available on demand after the live presentation today. All attendees are going to receive an email immediately following this webinar, and that's going to have a link to access the presentation, so we encourage you to share this with your team and your network. To ensure the best audio quality again today, we have everyone listen-only mode, but if you do have questions, please be sure to submit those in the question pane of the GoToWebinar control panel, and we might have time to get to those at the end. If we don't, promise that we'll follow up with you offline afterwards. All right, now I'm going to introduce today's presenter, Tom Lemerand. Tom's with us here at LedgeView Partners. He's a pre-sales consultant, and he's going to be talking to you about field service. Tom, it's all yours.
All right, thank you, Andy. So I have a couple of slides that we'll go through right away in the beginning here, a quick introduction, but really what I really want to be focusing on today is actually within the tool. So let's get going right on into the slides here. So we have broken up this service into multiple different webinars because there's so much to be covering now, and Microsoft has added so much into the service area that we have broken it up into 3 webinars. So today we're going to be covering the service piece, just really giving you kind of an introduction of what service is and what it's all and how they built out the service module. But then our next webinar will be scheduled for July 21st, and really that will be covering the field service and the work order area of the tool. And then we'll have another webinar scheduled after that to show you some more features and functionality that's available within the service module. All right, so just a quick history of LedgeView. We were established in 2007. We specialize in CRM platforms, and the 2 that we are certified in is Microsoft Dynamics CRM and Salesforce. All of our consultants are CRM certified, so we are certified in both platforms. Also, we have over 350 customers in 25 plus industries, and we have done over 1,000 plus CRM projects since we have started. And one of the things that we're probably most proud of is that we have our 98% customer retention rate. All right, so the future of field service is really what we're going to be focusing on within this webinar series, and there's been so much that Microsoft has put into their product. So within this, again, if you look at CRM as a whole, there's lots of different items that fill into CRM. So, CRM is mostly thought of as a sales tool, but that's just part of it. There's lots of other pieces that are there. So there's sales, there's marketing, and of course what we're going to be focusing on today is the service area. So within service, we have the customer service, the field service, and then the project service. So we'll be focusing on this webinar on those 3 items on the bottom here, the customer service, the field service, and the project service. Today we'll be focusing on the whole service and kind of navigation as a whole, and then we'll at the end we'll kind of see how that transitions over to field service, and then the next webinar will really be focusing on the field service aspect. All right. So now let's jump right into CRM. So I am bringing this up within a web browser. This is a brand new spring 2016 release of CRM Online. So this is the latest and greatest version of CRM that's available. What I want to start with right here is that I just want to show you, for those of you that may not be familiar with CRM, all of the capabilities that are within CRM. So on the top here is the navigation bar, and this really shows us how to get through CRM and what's all available within CRM. So I'm going to open up this area here, and you can see the main areas that we briefly talked about during the introduction. So we have sales, service, marketing, field service, and project service. So as you can see is that there is a lot of functionality that Microsoft has put into their CRM product. And The sales, the service, and the marketing are all part of the professional licensing model. So those come if you get a professional license, you'll get sales, service, and marketing. Field service and project service is an add-on that's additional license for those two services or for those two products. And if you have questions around the pricing on those, you can talk to any of us or just ask us in the chat window, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can around the prices of these additional products. But with that, again, we talked about, lots of times CRM is brought in from the sales side. So you can just see accounts, contacts, leads, opportunities, quoting, invoices. A lot of that, the sales side is what really sometimes brings CRM into the door. To, add to that and to enhance kind of the sales environment is the marketing area. So then this pretty much adds in campaigns and marketing lists. You can also add in marketing automation into this, but again, this really just helps support the sales and maybe even the service side. So this is another module that comes with Dynamics CRM. The one that we're going to be focusing on today is going to be service. So let's take a look at this service area. So again, we have a lot of the items with accounts and contacts, so I know who my customers are, or who am I dealing with. But more importantly within services are the cases, are the queue management, are the articles. So if I want to have my knowledge base articles in here, if I'm managing what products I'm going against, what my services are, I can have goals and goal metrics around here. So if I need to be closing cases in so many time, or if I have some goals on I need to have my first contact within so much time, all of that can be set up and managed within the service area. Now, since we're out here, I do want to bring up the other areas, the other products, and just show you the capabilities of the other pieces. So let's take a look at field service. So one of the main items around field service are managing the work orders, and then along with that is your schedule board. So once I have my work orders, how do I get it scheduled, and how do I get my technicians, or how do I get my fleet out there, my resources out there, my what trucks do I need, what skill sets do I need? All that is managed through this field service area. And then as you can see is that there's additional items on here. So let's say inventory and purchase management and RMA management. So I'm going to say around the inventory management, lots of times this is inventories, let's say within a truck. So I'm not going to say this is a replacement for inventory management, but lots of times, once you have your warehouse management tool, once you put it into a truck, lots of times it's hard to manage what's in the different trucks or your different resources that you need. So this tool will help you around your work orders and then scheduling your field service technicians, and then also around there trying to help manage and provide the information around customer assets, around the skill sets that are needed, and around even the inventory that's within their trucks. The last product that they just introduced, in fact this is a new product offering that they just started offering with this latest release, is called Project Service, but it's part of the whole service realm. And so in here, this is more managing from a project level. So if I want to do my Gantt charting, or if I need to do resource management, or who am I signing to what, again, if I'm a service industry or even a consulting industry, let's use LedgeView Partners as an example. Any projects you work with us, we use a project management tool, excuse me, exactly like this, sitting inside our CRM. So we can manage, who's working on what project. We can have time accounting done through there so we know how much time they have spent. Additional items is through here we can do our invoicing, so we can start our invoicing in here and then integrate in with our accounting software. So there's lots of flexibility that is being provided now within this project service module. So the one thing that you're going to find is that all these modules come with kind of out-of-the-box functionality. So as soon as you get the license and you turn it on, you're going to have these features and functionality, what you're going to be seeing throughout this webinar series. The one thing I do want to let you know is that since it sits on top of the Microsoft platform or the CRM platform, we are able to configure all these and mix and match. So some of the stuff, maybe some of the time entry or the expense management that Project Service has will be nice to be used within field service or within different areas. So you can kind of mix and match just depending on what you need, what capabilities you want, and we can configure or enhance any of these features to make sure that we can meet your business requirements. So with that, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump right into CRM and just kind of start with some of the navigation around CRM and what is provided within the service area. And then we'll jump into cases. Once we review through the cases, then what I will do is that I'll just show you an overview of what is all provided in the service area. And then if we have time at the end, we can open it up for questions. Otherwise, as Andy mentioned, any questions that are asked through the chat, we will make sure to get back to you offline with to answer any of the questions that you may have. So with that being said, like almost any type of webinar that you have seen with me when I'm introducing something within CRM, one of the main areas that we'd like to start with is within the dashboards. And of course, just as they have dashboards for sales and for marketing, they have dashboards for the customer service or the service area. So I'm just going to show you two different dashboards today to show you some examples of what data we're capturing and what we can capture, and then we'll dive into the service area directly. So right now I'm in the customer service performance dashboard. So what this is just let me know is that it's showing me, what am I having issues with? What products am I having some issues with? I see this ABS fulfillment 3D printer is having some issues, so I may want to look into that. So it allows me to try to react and maybe be a little bit proactive if something is happening. Maybe I need to warranty out something. Maybe I need to be more proactive and reach out to everyone that bought this in the last 6 months because of a defect we have found. So again, you can use these dashboards to really show, what type of cases do I have coming in? Hopefully I have more normal and low than high. The nice thing is that through a dashboard, I can actually go, I want to see I want to see my high cases right here. So I'm just going to click and jump out of here. And what this is going to allow me to do is see the detail behind my cases. So I'm going to go and click on the high cases here, and now I have direct access right to my high cases. It automatically pre-filters it, and now I can be working through and look at some of the information, who's the customer, who's working on it in here, what is the status that they have. So right through here, really quickly, right from my dashboards, I can dive down into the details very quickly. Another nice feature within the dashboards is that I want to see these high priorities, and I just want to see what the product mix is around here. So I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to do what they call drill through here, and I'm going to click on product. And now I can see that, well, unfortunately people are not filling in their cases too well, but I see that one of the high ones is through the ABS filament printer. So this does allow me to drill into my different areas. Another good one is that I want to see who's working on these different items. So I'm going to go into here, and I want to see who the owner of these cases are. And now I can see who's working on the high priority. I see Tom has a couple, but they're pretty evenly dispersed out, so not one person is working on a lot of the high ones. So this just gives me a nice view that I can drill into and just get to the information that I need. Otherwise, I can go right to the details if I want to kind of bypass this high level and just see and dive right into the information. But along with that, again, I can just see total, I can just make sure that, Jamie might be kind of high, and so maybe I can get him to pass some of his cases over to Annie just because she's not as busy right now. Otherwise, I can see where are my cases coming from. So I see a lot are coming from web and email. Maybe if they're coming from web, I can start looking at this, and maybe this will be an indication that, hey, if they're using the web, maybe I can start having a self-service portal out there because they are out on the web already. So it just allows me to make some decisions. And again, this is kind of what I was looking at above here, but this just gives me a breakdown on who the people are that are looking at it. So I just want to give you an idea that as long as you're collecting the information, and again, like I mentioned, all this that you're seeing here is all fields that are come out of the box with the service, with with your professional license within CRM. So all this thing is already set up. Now again, we can configure it to make sure that it fits your needs, but there's a lot of functionality that is coming out of the box right now. So this is, kind of on that customer service area. I'm going to go into an operations manager view right now. So from here, this is a little bit different view. I have one of the same dashboard or one of the same charts by this case by priority, but I have some new charts. This one I like is really interesting, and these two are directly from the field service area now. And so now that I mentioned that within field service, it's all about managing my resources and my field techs and pushing them out into the field and getting them scheduled. I know that I have jobs out there, and I put average time or average hours that a job should take. I want to see what the average time is or the estimated time and then measure it against what the actuals are. So what I'm hoping for is that the blue line is taller than the reddish orange line here, because that means that they're either completing it on time or they're completing it, faster than the estimated time. So if I look at this, everyone looks pretty good except, Hal. I might want to have a discussion with Hal. Maybe we are assigning him stuff that, he's struggling with, or maybe he needs some more training on it. So again, it just gives me a quick look at how my field techs, how my reps are doing. And it's just a very simple one because they're recording their time and how long it takes. And I know on average how long each task should be. This is just a very easy chart that I can create or generate because I have what the estimated and the actuals are already set up in the system. Another chart here, this is kind of similar to the product chart that we looked at above, but again, this is more, what am I doing from an incident type, or what types of tasks am I sending my field technicians out on? So again, I see that the MRI cycle is too long, or poor MRI image, or fan out, or disinspection. So now I can tell, I can tell what products I have that are causing me issues, but I can also tell now what are my field techs dealing with? What are the things that they are needing to, be working on? And again, it can just help me plan either training more technicians in different fields or seeing if there's actually an issue that's happening that, again, can come back and hopefully be proactive on how we deal with it compared to always being reactive. Within dashboards, as you know, if you are CRM users, is that it doesn't always have to be all charts. You can also have details that are associated to it. So from an operational management standpoint, it's nice to see kind of these graphs, but then I can also go down here and see some details. So now I can see that, all right, here are some active work orders that are not scheduled yet, and maybe I need to dig into some of these to see why are they not open, or why are they not scheduled, or what's going on with some of these. Otherwise, I can look at cases and just kind of see what my caseload is and work through here. So the dashboard is a really good starting point for you to be able to, hopefully plan, manage, forecast, and start your day within CRM. But it also is that if you need to get down to the details, it's very simple, very quick to be able to drill in or drill down into the details that you need to see from the dashboard area. So this is the standard dashboard that comes with CRM. An enhancement that they made recently with a newer version of CRM is what they call an interactive dashboard. That interactive dashboard is all around the service area, and this one is a little bit more, again, interactive, which its title, it's aptly titled or named. So this also comes with the product. It's actually a separate URL that you can access directly from within CRM. So it opens up a separate tab, as you've seen on top here. But what this allows me to do now is that it gives me a little bit more interactive vibe through here. So it gives me kind of the same information that I had on my basic dashboards within CRM. But what this allows me to do now is that, again, I'm looking at those high priority cases. I have 9 high priority cases. I want to dive into those. So I can go into here and click on these 9 and notice how it pre-filters everything now. So now it actually tells me, what are my products that I'm dealing with? what is the type of incident, what is the issue that they're looking at, where are they coming from, and then here are actually all the cases that I'm using. So this case goes directly back into CRM. So right from here, I can go into here and start, I can open this up if I needed to, and then start working on the case directly through here. I can go back, and now I can actually, I can filter on any of these. So I mentioned those 3D printers. I'm having some issues with those. So let's just focus on those items. So here's the 4 cases. They're coming in mostly through email on here. So now I can just go and focus directly on those 4 cases. The other nice area is through here is that it gives me kind of my counts of where I'm, what I'm working on and what I'm looking at. So, if I have some activities that I need to be focusing on, I can go right through here and just look through my list of activities that I need to be working on. So I can kind of manage my day and just see at a very high level some counts and just looking at how I need to be working. So it's a little bit more interactive compared to the standard dashboards. You can probably get to the same information, it's just a little bit different look and feel, and it just depends on how your users want to interact with CRM. But both processes, both the standard dashboards and these interactive dashboards, are available within CRM. So you can pick and choose. Both of them are configurable. Both of them are manageable, and as you saw before, I probably didn't show you in the last one, but you can have multiple different dashboards too. So you can have different types of dashboards and different items that you want to show, and like I mentioned before, you can customize these. So with that, let's go back into the CRM tool now. So we're back in the standard dashboards. Let me just show you here. So again, I can have multiple different types of dashboards that I have in here. The other nice thing with these dashboards is that your power users can create their own. If they want to create their own dashboards or their charts, or how they kind of want to personalize how they want to see their dashboards, they can do that through this view, where they can actually save and edit these dashboards or create a new one for themselves. But with that, now let's dive into the actual service module within CRM. So I'm going to go up here, I'm in service, and I'm going to go into the main entity within the service area called cases. So what I'm going to say is that this is one of the areas, again, the service module has been built up probably the most within the last releases. Now again, they've actually enhanced it by adding additional products in field service and project service. But what they have really done internally also is really build out what's this case management and this service management can provide. So within here, again, this is just kind of my list of cases, and for those that maybe are not as familiar with CRM, with it being a Microsoft product, it is very familiar to be able to work with. So I can go up here and click on filter, and then right from here, just like you can with an Excel, I want to look at all my high priority cases. So I can just go in here, click high, and now it shows me my high priority cases in my list. So I hope what you're seeing here is that there's lots of flexibility, lots of capability to get to the same piece. You can do it through dashboards, you can do it directly through the list of cases, through the views. You can also do it through different views. So I can create different views, and notice there's lots of different there's lots of different views here around the cases. And we'll talk through some of these. We'll talk through SLAs and different things, but there's just lots of flexibility within the tool to be able to manage and maintain and get to the data that you need to get to. All right, with that, let's jump right into one of the cases. So I'm going to look at this ABS 3D printer. So again, as we've been noticing throughout our dashboards, that we're having some issues with some 3D printers. So I'm going to dive into this one and just kind of look to see what kind of details can be collected around this. So those of you that are familiar with Dynamics CRM, maybe using the sales or marketing module currently, it's a standard look and feel of a form. So if you're a sales rep, you're going to be very comfortable using, a case or viewing a case form. If you are a customer service rep or a service rep and you need to look at accounts or contacts or maybe even opportunities for some reason, it's a very common look and feel. So notice no matter where I've gone within here, I've always had this navigation bar on top. This shows me a breadcrumb of where I am. So I'm in cases, I'm in the service module, and this is the case that I'm working on currently. Down below is the taskbar. So these are the different tasks that I can do within the case. I'll get to some of these in a little bit. But let's keep moving down. So now we have our header information. And this header information, again, it's shown throughout while I scroll through the different pages, but it's also interactive. So for some reason, if I need to change the priority on this, I can do this right from the header. So I don't have to go down here and try to search for the field. I can edit the fields within my header as long as they're editable. As I keep scrolling down, there is a business process flow here. This is something that, again, comes out of the box, and as you may know, within Dynamics CRM, you can add a business process flow to any entity that is in CRM. So any the box entity and any custom entity that you create yourself. But what this allows you to do is that if you have a certain way that you want to be managing cases, or there's a certain way you want them to go through and work through a case, you can put that in here as a business process flow. Again, this example that they show has an identity stage, a qualify stage, a research, and then a resolve. And under each one, as you can tell right now, I'm in the qualify stage right now, but under each one, I can have a different list of items that I think is important that they cover while they're in that stage. Once they get to the next stage, it changes what their lists are. It changes what their items that they feel are important. So each one has a little bit different list of items that we feel are important per stage. Now, one thing I do want to let you know of is that that is not required. Some people like that in cases. Some people say that, no, you know what, each case is so different, we can't have a standard process that we have on the top. No problem. We are actually able to turn that off if you want to, and so you just get that real estate back on the form. But if you do have a standard process, this is a really nice way to help manage and maintain that. You can also put process flow into there, meaning that I can't move forward unless I mark my activities to be completed. So if I try to, now that it's yes, now it's, now this is check mark. If it's not, I can't move forward because this hasn't been completed yet. So again, it allows you to put some process into your case management if you want to. Otherwise, this can be turned off so that you do not see it. So let's look at the actual case form right now. So a lot of the dashboards that you are seeing are because of the information that they are filling in most of the time on this left-hand side. So again, just this very simple case title, it automatically assigns an ID. We say, what is this, what is the subject or what is the category that this is around? Who's our customer? Where did it come from? Just lots of different things, the product that we're working on, and then just some additional items. So again, here, so we purchased some 3D printers a year ago and is having some issues. The center area, what they call the social pane, is really around what communication has been done, what actions have been done, who has talked to this customer, what have they sent in. So I can see I've had a couple of phone calls, I had a follow-up with them. I'll talk about this email quickly, or in a little bit, I mean. But again, this just really shows you, any action items that have been there. So if you need to assign this case to somebody else, they know exactly what they talked about and who they talked to and what they talked about. So one of the features that has been enhanced recently within Dynamics CRM is the knowledge base functionality. So Dynamics CRM always had a knowledge base. So within their service module, they've always had a knowledge base. But it's been very, lack of a better term, low tech, meaning that you could put text in there. And it was more, you ask a question, and then you can put answers in there in text. So they have really enhanced that capability within here, and now with their partnership or with their purchase of Parature about a year ago, 2 years ago, they put a lot more functionality directly into the CRM piece. So this new knowledge base now can be External facing also, so like I mentioned before, let's say you gain a lot of web hits, a lot of web cases. You can face this, you can put this into a portal on your website, and now you can have kind of that self-help, the same one that you have internal to CRM, you are able to expose it to your website also. And that's part of the product that comes with Dynamics CRM. You just have to build out the content that needs to go out there. And of course, there is control, so someone that creates an article can't just push it out there. There's different levels where, you know, they need to get it approved, and then approver approves it, and you can have someone else publish it. So you can put, you know, controls on how those articles are getting managed and pushed out there, especially if you have them, you know, external facing, so that you can really manage what you're trying to send out to your customers. But with that, notice in here it automatically grabbed my case title and put it in here. And so within here it says, you know, 3D printers. So I had a knowledge base article out there for 3D, you know, 3D printer troubleshooting. It can count how many times it's been viewed. One of the nice things through here is that I can say link, yes, okay, this is the article I want. So let's link this article directly to this case. Another nice feature is that I can send this article directly out. Otherwise, I can pop it out if I need to take a look at it. But one thing I do want to show you now is that I'm going to pop this out, and notice now we can have images in here. This can be, you know, a PDF document if you want it to look like a PDF document. You know, so if you have stuff currently on, you know, let's say on a shared drive or in you know, in SharePoint or something like that, you can now put all that information, because you can do text, you can do pictures, you can do formatting. It's, you know, you got a full array of options now on how to maintain and manage these knowledge base articles. And so like I just mentioned, I just have some pictures in here just to show you. This one is probably not a very good example of what a knowledge base article can be. What I wanted to show you here, though, is that the picture capabilities, and it's more than just drawings. It can be actual, you know, images that can be put into here. So like I mentioned, the really nice thing is right from here, I can just say, yep, I want to send this email out. And then it actually just puts the knowledge base directly into the body of the email. Now I can also do a setting where I make it as an attachment, but again, by default, it puts it into the body. So that is a nice feature that they enhanced, because they always did have knowledge base articles, but they have enhanced that area within Dynamics CRM. One of the new things that they've added is called SLAs, so service level agreements. And service level agreements now with the latest version can be applied to anything now. It does not have to be specifically around cases. It can be applied to any entity within CRM. But we'll focus on what it does within the case area. So within here, what this is saying is that I need to respond by a certain date. So I'm saying that I need to respond by today. And so if you noticed my response, you know, I have not met my response. I did not respond appropriately. So please ignore these phone calls down here. So in this example, I did not respond appropriately, and then because of that, you know, I'm in the red. So what does that mean? What can that do for me? So now I actually have an action item that, because this got in the red, I actually had an email that was directly created from this, and it was escalated. So an email got sent out to Kelly's manager and to Kelly saying that, you know, the SLA wasn't met for this. I can do lots of different action items. I can also do action items around not only when it fails to meet, but warnings, meaning that, let's say I have to respond to a case within 3 days. Within 2 days, if I haven't responded, I can send out a warning. And then within the 3rd day, then it goes into failure status, and I can react to different ways too. So this SLA can be assigned through entitlements. So you could have different SLAs or different timers on here based on maybe a high priority is handled differently than a low priority, of course. You know, high priority, you probably want to make sure you're responding faster than a low priority one. But then you can also do it product specific, meaning that maybe for these types of products, I need to respond within 4 hours. If I'm an MRI machine and I'm in the healthcare industry, I need to respond quicker than if I'm a 3D printer, maybe doing, making widgets. Again, it just depends on what your support model is, and sometimes people have different levels of support, and maybe you charge for support. You can set up that whole hierarchy through entitlements and through SLAs, and each customer can have their own entitlements. Otherwise, you can have general SLAs that are set out there. And again, the biggest thing with the SLA, the timer looks nice, but more importantly is that you can have action items if you're not meeting the SLAs on time. And that can be rerouting the cases, that can be sending out emails, it can be modifying different items on the cases. I can edit this case if I needed to based on some criteria. So that is a nice functionality or feature that they have added into the service area that is now gives you, actionable items you can do and set based on how your support model is. Just quickly, I know that we're coming up, so about 5 minutes left, but the other piece is, this is just some additional information that I want to show you on here is that based on this being Blue Yonder Airlines, I brought up all the details about that customer. So here's some email, phone number, Facebook, Twitter items. What are some recent cases that they have had, any entitlements that they may have. So again, I can go through here and really just give me a history of everything that I need. So when I'm a customer service rep and I'm working through this, I can, have all the information right on the single screen, and I don't have to look through multiple different applications or forms to find out what I need to know about this customer or about this issue. So then what do I do when I'm working with the case? What can I do with it? Again, there's different items that you can do, and let's go back up to this taskbar now. So one of the items that they added is the ability to route. And there's two different ways to route. You can auto route based on criteria that's set in here. So if it meets a certain criteria, you can auto route a case someplace. Otherwise, you can do a save and route. So now this is more of a manual piece. So you know what? I did what I need to do. Now I need to route it to somebody else. So I can click save and route, and now I can route it to a specific area, and there can be business rules behind it on what that routing is. Another thing is that right now it looks like we're having an issue with a 3D printer. Let's say it's all the same issue. We can create child cases or children cases around a parent case, and now we can just manage one of those cases, and based on the information and how we do to resolve the parent case, it can roll down to all the child cases. Again, each child case is a separate case, but you can just manage one and have that hierarchy so that you don't have to, if you have 20 different cases for the same issue, you can just manage it once in the tool, and then it will roll down to the different children cases. And you can manage how you do that child case management and how the roll down is. Of course, you can resolve a case through here, but one of the pieces that, again, we'll be jumping into during the next webinar is around the field service. And what I mentioned around field service is one of the core components is a work order. Well, lots of times work orders, when I need to send field techs out, start from a case. And so right from here, I can convert this to a work order. So again, what we want to stress to you is that you have this central location that you can do all of this within a single environment. So with that, the one last thing I want to show you before I turn it back over to Andy is that I just want to show you all the capabilities that they have been adding to this service area. So I'm going to actually go into settings, and I'm going to go into service management over here. And this just gives you a quick overview on what you can do within the service area now. So you can do queue management. Again, the parent-child case settings that we talked about. You can do automatic record creation. So just quickly, you can monitor a queue, an email queue. Emails come in, and you can automatically create cases off of there based on what's in the subject line or based on what's, who the email was from. So, and then we talked through service level agreements, we talked through entitlements, the knowledge base, the knowledge base area. So there's just lots of functionality that they have really enhanced in the service area. That's about the time that we had today. So I'm going to turn it back over to Andy. I thank you for your time, and any questions you have, we'll be sure to follow up with you. Andy?
All right, thanks, Tom. What a great intro into the new world of field service today. It's really great to see Microsoft putting so much focus on field service right now. And we're going to get into more detail going forward with parts 2 and 3 of this series. And in relation to that, our second part for this new field service series is going to take place next month on Thursday, July 21st. And before we go, I just want to remind everyone that you will receive an email with a link to the recording of today's presentation. And there's also going to be a link on there to register for the second part of our series for next month. So keep an eye out for that and be sure to register. And thanks again for joining us today. If you did ask a question, I saw there were a couple in there. We will be following up with you on offline as we are out of time for today. So thanks again, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.